The celebrities are gossiping about drama amid Baldoni.
Asking why Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds were even there.
They did this publicity stunt last night where they went on SNL and Ryan Reynolds made this silly joke, this really silly joke.
Justin Baldoni's lawyer has some choice words about it all.
Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds have been front and center in Hollywood for years, celebrated for their perfect couple aura, quick-witted humor, and seemingly flawless family life. Yet suddenly, the spotlight is revealing a different story. Why? In the midst of a heated legal dispute involving Justin Baldoni, would they choose to make a bold, almost brazen appearance at Saturday Night Live's 50th anniversary? Was it a desperate PR move, a miscalculated joke, or something else entirely?
Ryan Reynolds, how's it going?
Great. Why? What have you heard?
This was the first public appearance for Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds since she filed her civil rights complaint.
And it's it's SNL 50-year anniversary. And or Saturday night, whatever. Ryan Reynolds stands up and she's like, "How's it going?" He's like, "Good. Why? What have you heard?" And everyone's all, ha, 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 ha.
This controversy has roiled the industry, with some insiders raising eyebrows at the couple's behavior, others openly condemning them, and still more quietly distancing themselves. The drama goes far beyond a single publicity stunt. Lawsuits are piling up, reputations are being dragged through the mud, and Hollywood itself seems baffled by the couple's choices. Today, we're diving deep into every angle of this complicated saga, revealing fresh twists, shocking allegations, and the high-stakes consequences lurking on the horizon.
We do have It Starts With Us, so I'm hoping to see you back in the double duty role.
I think there are better people for that one.
Justin.
I think Blake Lively's ready to direct. That's what I think. So, yeah.
The 50th anniversary of Saturday Night Live was meant to be a grand celebration of comedy and culture, an event bringing together legendary cast members, superstar cameos, and unforgettable sketches. The anticipation around who might show up was enormous, but nobody anticipated that Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds would walk onto the stage, all smiles, making offhand jokes in the midst of a highly publicized legal showdown. Reports say the couple strolled into the building at 30 Rockefeller Plaza shortly before the live broadcast. In a moment caught by multiple cameras, Ryan reportedly cracked a joke referencing all the legal drama back home. He joked, "I'm doing great. Why? What have you heard?" The entire room felt the tension. Was he addressing the lawsuit? Was it a self-aware wink at the swirling rumors? Or was he blatantly trivializing the situation?
I didn't like him. Just gonna be straight with you. I didn't fucking like him. So they're both equally repulsive.
Viewers and insiders quickly jumped online, debating if it was in poor taste or just typical Ryan Reynolds humor. The real kicker, though, is that this was the couple's first major public appearance since the bombshell accusations regarding Blake's behind-the-scenes conflicts with Justin Baldoni and the defamation battle that erupted soon after. Few could believe they would choose a high-profile comedy show, filled to the brim with influential A-listers, to appear so upbeat and lighthearted, given the magnitude of what they're facing. But that was only the start of the night's controversies.
And then we'll talk about everybody making fun of them, like all the A-list celebrities. What are you doing here? Why are you guys here? Do you guys really believe that you're still part of our crew? You crooked weirdos.
Behind the glitz of SNL lies a far darker backdrop, a tangled web of legal paperwork, accusations, and distressing claims. At the center of it all is the increasingly hostile feud between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. Once set to collaborate on the high-profile film adaptation of It Ends With Us, they now find themselves on opposite sides of a potential courtroom showdown. Blake Lively alleges that Baldoni subjected her to serious misconduct during the film's production. She filed a civil rights complaint, claiming everything from creative conflicts to more severe issues of harassment. Baldoni, in turn, vehemently denies it all. Not only did he push back on her accusations, but he countersued for defamation, a lawsuit rumored to be worth a staggering $400 million. Adding to the frenzy is the leak of behind-the-scenes footage, text messages, and voice notes, painting a murky picture of on-set drama. Some of these recordings, released on a 168-page website run by Baldoni's camp, point to a director so stressed he could hardly function. Others reveal suspicious timing on Blake's side, as if she were waiting for the perfect moment to level each claim.
Justin, if I'm not mistaken, is on vacation right now with his kids in Hawaii. Is he still there? Do you speak to him?
I do speak to him. I speak to him often. I wouldn't call it vacation.
Despite the seriousness, Lively's appearance on SNL with her ever-charming husband had critics wondering if she truly feels the emotional weight she's claiming in court. Baldoni's lawyers are pouncing on that disconnect, branding her SNL moment as Exhibit A for how she might be exaggerating or fabricating her distress. If she's as tormented as she says, they argue, why risk trivializing the entire ordeal with comedic one-liners? However, the real repercussions of this legal storm run even deeper.
That wasn't fulfilling for me, that I wanted to be a part of the storytelling, that I wanted to be a part of the narrative, whether that be in the writing, in the costume design, in creating the character.
It's no secret Hollywood runs on relationships. The right word in the right ear can make or break a career overnight. So, when one of Tinseltown's most beloved couples gets swept into scandal, the response can be swift. Insiders say producers, directors, and fellow actors are torn. On one hand, Lively and Reynolds are A-list draws who can open movies and rack up social media buzz. On the other, the negativity swirling around them poses a massive PR headache. Rumor has it that numerous whisked high-profile celebrities at the SNL anniversary event gave them the cold shoulder. Some were polite but distant. Others apparently avoided them altogether, not wanting to be photographed or dragged into conversation. The hush-hush gossip behind the scenes was that many in attendance found it bizarre that they showed up so cheerfully amid serious allegations. A few snide remarks were overheard in corridors, questioning if the two still believe they belong in Hollywood's inner circle, or if they're clinging to an image that's rapidly unraveling.
Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds singing. It's just, this is gold for content creators, because there is this like dichotomy that exists between like Hollywood celebrities and then like content creators and podcasters.
The question on everyone's lips: are they bulletproof from scandal simply because of their star power and social media prowess? Or will this blow up into a full-scale cancellation, the kind that leaves major talents exiled from top projects for years? Even those who were once staunch defenders of the couple, like certain authors and celebrities who have collaborated with Blake, are quietly distancing themselves. Some, including writer Colleen Hoover, have wiped mentions of them from social media. Colleen's fans noticed the complete disappearance of Lively from her feed, interpreting it as a major sign of trouble. But the critiques aimed at them within Hollywood pale in comparison to what's happening online.
Somebody in Blake Lively's camp was shopping around what they claimed to be HR complaints to various tabloids and publications, namely TMZ, Daily Mail, and the New York Post.
While Lively and Reynolds attempted to bask in the glow of the SNL stage, Baldoni's team was allegedly readying a strategic counterattack. One critical argument they're making: you can't claim to be suffering severe emotional distress, struggling to leave your house, fearing public ridicule, feeling unable to function, then show up on national television, decked out in designer wear and crack jokes. According to Baldoni's lawyers, it's the epitome of hypocrisy. Legal experts chimed in on various talk shows, dissecting the possible ramifications of her appearance. They pointed out that if a case hinges on emotional or psychological trauma, any public action that contradicts that narrative can severely weaken your position in court. Being cheerful in a comedic setting can easily be spun as trivializing the entire dispute. Baldoni's camp is framing their client as someone seeking solitude and peace, especially given that he was reportedly in Hawaii with his family, avoiding the limelight altogether. Photos circulating on social media show him dressed casually, looking tired but calm as he spends time with loved ones. For many observers, that image stands in stark contrast to Lively's high-energy television outing. Adding to the drama, critics have been quick to point out Ryan Reynolds' role in all of this. He's infamous for his meticulously crafted social media presence, someone who knows how to captivate an audience with self-deprecating charm. If Reynolds decided it was a good idea to appear at SNL, some say that indicates a calculated PR strategy rather than a random date night. They argue that his involvement could hurt Blake's case even more by making their entire approach look orchestrated. After all, if your spouse is under legal fire, wouldn't you at least be cautious about the optics? But the true game changer here might be the media itself, traditional outlets versus independent creators. In a bygone era, celebrity narratives were controlled by major publications, glossy magazines, tabloid TV shows, and a few prominent newspapers. A-list stars could feed these outlets selective stories, shaping the public's perception. However, in the modern world, social media influencers, podcasters, and YouTube channels hold astonishing power. If a story seems suspicious or manipulative, it won't take long for someone outside the mainstream to dig deeper and present an alternative angle. This is precisely what's happening with the Lively Baldoni saga. Large media outlets like the New York Times initially published pieces leaning towards Blake's allegations. But then, alternative voices sprang into action, questioning the timing, revealing contradictory evidence, and spotlighting potential motivations behind Blake's claims. Numerous content creators, from small YouTubers to big-name podcasters, have collectively shifted public opinion. Some of them ridiculed the carefully staged nature of Lively's SNL appearance, describing it as too convenient and reeking of publicity tactics. Others championed Baldoni's perspective, pointing out that he lacks the massive platform the couple enjoys and yet seems to have more consistent evidence. There's also the lingering memory of other high-profile controversies, where initial accusations later fell apart. Audiences are warier of accepting media narratives at face value, especially when they align a little too neatly with an individual's personal or professional gain. In short, the days of controlling the narrative through a handful of press releases are gone, and that shift might spell big trouble for Lively and Reynolds. But the strain on their carefully cultivated image doesn't end with independent journalism. For years, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds were the shining example of a Hollywood power couple. They posted playful jabs at each other on Instagram, displayed wholesome family moments, and rarely faced any controversies that stuck. Yet critics now wonder if that squeaky clean image is too good to be true. In older interviews, Blake once mentioned her desire to dominate creative decisions, from costumes to story arcs, something that surfaced again when the leaked recordings featured her openly asserting control on set. That bold attitude might work for some stars, but it's coming back to haunt her now. Accusations claim she repeatedly sidelined directors and insisted on rewriting scenes to her liking, possibly fueling the conflict with Baldoni. While it's one thing to be hands-on, it's another to face a legal battle claiming you overstepped boundaries, manipulated publicity, and misrepresented critical details to the press. Reynolds, once celebrated for comedic roles and brand endorsements, finds himself under fire for enabling or at least tolerating the entire fiasco. Critics argue he's no stranger to savvy PR moves, like lampooning himself in commercials. So, maybe this SNL appearance was just another spin attempt. Adding more layers is the fact that the show is overseen by Colin Jost, who's married to Scarlett Johansson, one of Ryan's exes. Some label that choice of venue strangely petty, while others see it as a sign of desperation. If Lively hoped to rally Hollywood sympathy, the SNL cameo might have done the opposite, putting an uncomfortable spotlight on the awkward ties between the couple's personal history and the show's key players. Yet, what happened after the show ended fueled the most intense speculation. The story didn't conclude the moment the SNL cameras stopped rolling. According to insiders, Blake and Ryan lingered at 30 Rock for almost an hour after the broadcast, mingling with other actors, staff, and special guests. Dakota Johnson, among others, was seen chatting with them. Some onlookers say the couple appeared perfectly at ease, laughing, snapping selfies, and acting like the night was a lighthearted reunion. But their decision to skip the official after-party raised eyebrows. Instead, they left the building alongside Paul McCartney, retreating from the chaos of the post-show celebration. At first glance, it might have looked like an elegant exit, but for those tuned into the scandal, it signaled a couple desperate to control the narrative. Perhaps they'd gotten all the photo ops they wanted without risking any drunken, unguarded moments at the after-party. Hollywood watchers also noted how this timeline clashes with Blake's earlier statements about feeling too overwhelmed to face public events. Not to mention, she's claimed that constant harassment from fans and the press makes it nearly impossible to go out. Yet here she was, confidently posing for pictures, receiving cheers from bystanders, and joking about heavy legal matters. Baldoni's legal team presumably took meticulous notes. Video footage, behind-the-scenes snapshots, and social media posts capturing Lively's cheerful demeanor could become prime evidence to question her claims of emotional suffering. Meanwhile, Justin Baldoni's lawyer, Brian Friedman, openly criticized the couple's behavior, calling it a golden gift to their legal opposition. He pointed out that if you want the courts to believe you're crippled by stress, you don't typically choose a major network's 50th anniversary bash to show off your comedic timing. Friedman also confirmed Baldoni was indeed in Hawaii with his family, seeking solace far from the tabloids. For many, that image, Baldoni quietly trying to find peace while Lively and Reynolds ham it up on TV, spoke volumes. But the final question is this: can the couple salvage their public image before the approaching legal showdown? As March 9th, 2026 creeps closer, the tension is palpable. This is the date when Blake and Ryan are expected to appear in court, answering to the defamation claims and other serious legal accusations tied to their public battle with Baldoni. The stakes couldn't be higher. If they lose, the financial penalties alone could be devastating, but the real cost might be their credibility in an industry that often relies on public favor to greenlight projects. In the court of public opinion, the tide appears to be turning. The once untouchable glamour of the perfect couple is riddled with questions. Are they simply misguided, or did they truly plan an elaborate scheme to smear Baldoni and wrest creative control of a major film project? Even if their intentions were pure, public perception is shaped by optics, and the optics aren't looking great. The SNL cameo, the jokes, the after-show mingling, and the contradictory narratives all form a tangled mess they might not escape easily. Hollywood, too, seems to have reached a tipping point. Many are growing weary of orchestrated PR stunts that ignore real issues and real consequences. When actors show up on a platform like Saturday Night Live, especially to crack jokes about ongoing legal battles, it raises uncomfortable questions about sincerity and accountability. Studios and producers may hesitate to back the couple until they sort out their legal woes. Fellow actors might tread carefully around them, fearing guilt by association. After all, no one wants to be tainted by a scandal that threatens to overshadow an entire production. At the same time, Baldoni, once painted as an industry underdog, is gathering sympathy. His retreat to Hawaii and the leaked footage suggesting he's genuinely distraught have him looking like someone just trying to protect his reputation and find peace with his family. Whether or not that's entirely true, the narrative works in his favor. And in a high-profile case like this, narrative often holds as much power as hard evidence. Now the question remains: will more twists erupt before the couple steps into a courtroom? Could fresh leaks or new testimonies shift the balance of public sympathy once again? What began as an apparently routine Hollywood disagreement has snowballed into a scandal involving sexual harassment accusations, defamation suits worth hundreds of millions, and a potential fall from grace for one of entertainment's most adored couples. Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds have always known how to capture attention, but this time, the spotlight is sizzling with controversy instead of applause. Their risky choice to appear at Saturday Night Live's 50th anniversary special, making light of an ongoing legal mess, may prove to be the defining moment that either cements their downfall or sparks a last-ditch fight for redemption. Justin Baldoni, meanwhile, continues to play the role of the embattled underdog, waiting for his day in court. As the March 9th, 2026 date approaches, all eyes will be on how Lively and Reynolds navigate a storm of their own making, and whether Hollywood and the public are willing to forgive or forget. The drama is far from over. With more documents, footage, and interviews potentially lurking behind the scenes, the next big reveal could appear at any moment, setting the stage for a blockbuster legal showdown that might redefine how Hollywood handles behind-the-scenes disputes. Stay tuned for the next wave of shocking developments, because in this story, every time you think you've seen it all, another twist lurks just around the corner.